Thank you. As we say in BPI, nice morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to thank, again, Richard and Rebecca for organizing this, and to the RLC, Chad, for the invitation to be a speaker this morning. So I'm excited to share with all of you, ladies and gentlemen, how in BPI we're building a better Philippines, one home at a time. As head of the retail lending business of the group, it is our aspiration to become the preferred partner of Filipino families in achieving their financial dreams by promoting retail lending excellence. And what do we mean by that? We really just want to make lending fast, easy, and affordable for anyone to apply for a housing loan. Earlier, there was a side chat, and I was told we were the fastest to approve. I hope we can keep that promise and maintain that. So that's really the aspiration. You know, one of the ways that we do this is through a phygital strategy. Phygital, it's a coined word for the bank. We believe in the marriage between physical and digital, which is why we have 19 locations around the Philippines. This is on top of our 800+ branch network dedicated to serving retail lending needs in growth areas. We also have presence in the digital space. Do you know that you can already apply loans through our BPI mobile app, through Facebook, the BPI Loans website, and even through our partners like Lazada, the generics pharmacy, and in print stores nationwide. So we are expanding our agency network. This morning, I'd like to share with you my 3 takeaways on real estate growth in the Philippines and how BPI is helping, especially in the retail lending market. Sharing with you my takeaway number 1. And I'd like to borrow, and I'll put a keyword there. We want to be cautiously optimistic, if I may follow Chad's cue, about the future. But really, we're optimistic about the future, especially in the real estate space. Because the Philippines is actually one of the fastest growing economies among peers in Southeast Asia, mainly driven by consumer spending. In 2023, our real GDP was at 5.6%, which further increased to 6% as of this year. Looking at our remittances, we grew by almost 3% in 2023, and this has helped insulate us from the economic slowdown that some of our peers are experiencing. Interesting to note that Region 4A, or Calabarzon, has the biggest share of OFWs, followed by Region 6 in Western Visayas. If you look at the unemployment rate, it's also at a record low of just 3.1%, which means that more Filipinos now have jobs and more capacity to pay. Furthermore, we are expecting lower inflation this year, as interest rates are expected to go down in the coming months. I believe the Monetary Board will meet today and will declare the announcement later on the policy cut. This now brings me to my second takeaway. Real estate and real estate loans are growing, and we can see demand is picking up. In fact, for housing loan, the industry has grown by 9.7% year on year. Coming from the 2020 pandemic, we are currently on the upswing slide of the economic cycle, with the real estate growth rate steadily increasing since post-pandemic. And this has translated in an upward trend in the real estate loan growth from a low of 1.5% in 2021 to 12.1% in 2024. In fact, in the second quarter Senior Bank Officers Survey conducted by the BSP, most banks anticipate a steady or increased demand for loan households loan to households driven by increasing housing investment, housing consumption, and favorable financing terms. In terms of property development, if we zero in on condominiums, 2024 posted the lowest launches, which show that developers have remained cautious, especially because of high inventory of the market. But it's good to note that for the first half of 2024, we're seeing there's now more demand than incoming supply. Currently, take-up is still dominated by the affordable and lower mid segments for prices between 2.5 million and 7 million. But interesting to note that there is also growing interest in the upscale and steady actually demand in the upscale and luxury segments. So we say it's now the best time. The next question is, where do we see growth? Which brings me to my third takeaway, that we see opportunities now moving to suburban areas. For horizontal developments, take-up has continuously exceeded launches since 2018. We've noted real estate prices have also increased nationwide by 6.1% in the first quarter of 2024, but more so for provincial areas with a year-on-year change of 7.4%. But even with the optimism on demand, the brutal fact is still that there is a gap in the real estate industry in terms of housing. We're seeing the 6.5 million housing backlog. 6.5 million families who do not have their own home. So this is why we want to make home ownership inclusive and accessible to more Filipinos. I'd like to take this opportunity to share with all of you our solutions from BPI. First, we share with you the BPI My Bahay. This is the first down market housing loan among commercial banks in the Philippines. Here we provide access to home ownership through a lower down payment of just 5%, lower income requirement of just 25,000 pesos, a longer term of up to 30 years, and even loan rebates for good payment behavior. So if you know someone who'd like to have a housing loan or build their dream home, please do reach out to us. This time around, we always say that with BPI My Bahay, ang pangarap na sariling bahay ay kayang-kaya na ng mas nakararaming Pilipino. We also have the BPI Green Solutions, and I'm happy to note the increase in green financing earlier. We launched this year, and this is the first full suite of sustainable financing solutions for housing and even auto loans. With the BPI Green Solutions, more Filipinos now have access to solar energy via our solar mortgage, construction of sustainable materials, using sustainable materials via our eco-build financing, and even the electric vehicle financing. And finally, earlier I shared with you that there is a good customer base coming from the OFW segment. We recently launched programs and promos, especially for OFWs. We now have the BPI My Overseas Pinoy page. We know that it can be daunting for our kababayans to apply for a loan, especially for first-time borrowers. An innovation here is that not only can they check what are the requirements or even compute for potential amortization, they can also set a virtual meeting for a one-on-one consultation with a dedicated housing loan officer who can guide them through the loan process. And we've made it even easier for customers to browse for property and apply for a loan through the BPI Loans Marketplace, our one-stop shop digital solution for properties, cars, loan assessment, and actual application. So if any of these products interest you, please simply take photo of the slide or scan the QR code or visit the URL. Finally, I'm pleased to announce that in celebration of the 173rd anniversary of BPI this month, we have an ongoing promo for our brokers and your clients. We have the 777 promo until September 30. This is 7% for fixed for 7 years with waived fees. Beginning amount is at 7,000 up to 173,000 pesos. So, I hope that you will help us spread the good news. And if you apply via the loans marketplace, you actually get more. 100,000 BPI rewards points which will credit via Vibe, our app. In BPI, we really take it seriously to fulfill our mission, to empower many Filipinos realize their dreams and transform their aspirations sooner rather than later. So we're here to help reach goals and enrich futures. Together, we shall build a better Philippines, one family, one community at a time. Thank you very much.